Hey guys, my name is Mr. Brian. Welcome back to the Science Factory's YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, my wife and I are the founders of a summer science camp, and we are now posting online content for science experiments, art activities, and awesome games that you can play at home. In today's video, we're going to be using food to make our very own pH testing paper. So before you get started with this experiment, make sure you've gathered all your materials. For this one, you're gonna need some blackberries, paper towels, some paper, scissors, vinegar, water, and a plastic bag. You'll also want a plate. So for your first step, you're gonna cut some paper strips. I've already taken care of that since you don't need to see me cut anything. And the next step is we're gonna take our blackberries, put them into our bag, and this is the best part of any experiment, when you get to destroy stuff. So you're gonna seal the bag, make sure it's all the way sealed. You don't wanna get blackberry juice everywhere, and then just have at it. So much fun. Oh, the crinkles. Now, if you're gonna eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch, you already did some of the work. So for this next one, you're gonna need a cup of water and, well, you're gonna need normal sized molecules. These are a little big, hold on. Next, we're gonna open up the bag and put in a little bit of water so it's a little bit more liquid. We don't want it to be too diluted, so make sure you don't add too much water. We're gonna zip it back up, nice and tightly again, and keep mixing. So next we're gonna open up this bag. Remember, berries stain really easily, so we don't wanna get this juice on our clothing. And we're gonna take our paper strips and dip the ends of them into this solution. So first I'm gonna pour it out into this container here. All right, and now we're just gonna dip our paper strips into the solution. And then we're gonna put these onto our plate to dry. All right, so now we just wanna let this dry completely before we move on to our next step. So put this aside and come back to it later. By the way, if you do try this at home, remember that berries are gonna mold if you don't keep them in the fridge. So you should do this experiment from start to finish in the same day. And make sure that you throw away the mushy, used berries when you're done. All right, so our pH testing strips are dry now and they're ready to go. So I've got some vinegar here and I poured it out into this little beaker, and we're gonna dip the testing strips in there and see what happens. All right, so we're gonna take this test strip and dunk it here, and we'll give it some time to react. Okay, and we're gonna let that sit here for a little bit. Now, for contrast, I thought that we'd try testing baking soda as well. As you might know, vinegar is an acid and baking soda is a base. By the way, if you want to try this baking soda step at home, all you need to do is add baking soda and stir until no more baking soda will dissolve. That way you know that the water is completely saturated with baking soda. All right, so we're going to take our second strip and dip it in the baking soda. All right, so we've tested vinegar and baking soda, and to me it's very clear that they're both different colors. The baking soda, which is a base, is kind of a bluish, blackish color, and the vinegar is more of a rosy color. So it looks like using these testing strips, we can definitely tell which one was vinegar and which one was baking soda because there's a clear color difference. So since we've got some extra testing strips, I thought it would be fun to try a couple of household cleaners and see if they're basic or acidic. Now, if you try this at home, it's extremely important to know that you cannot mix household cleaners. Some cleaners, when mixed together, can create poisonous gases, and that's definitely something that we want to avoid. So please make sure that if you ever try something like this, or even when you're cleaning the house, that you don't mix any chemicals together. Now, unfortunately, it looks like one of our two extra strips got some vinegar on it, so I'm just gonna cut this one in half. And I'm just gonna put it in this small container so that we don't get chemicals on anything. All right, let's check out the Lysol and see whether it's an acid or a base. Based on the color, I'd say that the Lysol that we're using is more basic than acidic. All right, now it's time to try our glass cleaner. Now, I should note that this isn't the most scientific way that we could have done this because the glass cleaner that we're using has some blue dye to it, but it's very minimal, and if you look at a thin layer of the glass cleaner, it looks clear. So I don't think it's unfair to say that it's likely that the color change was due to the chemical reaction and not the color of the glass cleaner. Especially because ammonia, which is found in glass cleaner, is basic, and the color change indicates that we used a basic solution. We definitely have more pH testing and chemistry videos coming up in the future, so please keep an eye out for that. Did you like this video? What would you like to see in the future? Let us know in the comments down below. We really want to hear from you. You're watching The Science Factory, and we'll see you next time. What do you call it when raspberries play the guitar? A jam session. What do you call a berry that gets stepped on? Toe jam. What do a blueberry and elephants have in common? They're both blue. Well, except for the elephant.